Didn't have time to get party streamers, so you're just gonna get awkward enthusiasm. So, hello, fan cubs. It is me, Haley, and I hit 1,000 subscribers this month, which is crazy and awesome, and thank you so much, everyone who subscribed and shared. I know 1,000 isn't a big deal as far as the whole YouTube thing goes, but have you ever seen 1,000 people together in a room? Like, that's a lot of people. That's a hefty subway car, I'll tell you that. But honestly, thank you so much. I love you all parasocially. So to celebrate this milestone, I'm going to what I'm going to call 5 over, 5 under, which is 5 YouTubers I'm subscribed to that are under 1,000 that I think deserve a lot of your love and attention, and then 5 YouTubers I'm subscribed to that are over 1,000 that definitely influenced the way I work. So without further ado, here we go. I need the script. So how this is gonna go is I'm gonna give 1 under, 1 over, no particular order. All links are gonna be in the box or the description, and I'm gonna run a playlist on my community tab with even more YouTubers to choose from. So first up is The Voyages. That is the channel name, and the producer is Zach Hurst. He writes a series of video essays on science fiction, movies, and television and things. Full disclosure, he's Charlie's and my roommate. But it's a very smart, in-depth exploration of sci-fi, and he does all this really cool background composite work, and he has his own robot, and it's a lot of fun, and it deserves a lot more subs, so go henceforth. And on the subject of video essays, we are definitely in a video essay golden age right now, as far as just analytical, intelligent work being put on the internet and expanding horizons. And so there are several of these kind of golden age video essayists that I'm greatly inspired by, but my pick is expert film person and my friend Kyle Calgren. He does Brows Held High on YouTube and is arguably one of the greatest influences on the current style of the Philosophan and art theory in Disneyland. He's done a lot of cool stuff with storytelling and visuals, and he has this challenging yet calming presence, like that history professor that always told you to go a little bit further on your video essays, but he also counters that with this sort of self-deprecating side that shows he doesn't take himself too seriously, but he's still brilliant. Next up on the 5 under is another video essayist who does very good work and seems to be at the kind of the beginning of her process comparatively, and that's Laura Crone, who does a lot of essays on feminism and the treatment of women in media. She did a very good one on Jurassic World and the character of Claire, T-Rex heels, and just breaking down her narrative function and how that is at clash with her characterization. She also did a good one about Shrek and the idea of femininity and beauty as a form of social currency, which is a fascinating subject that doesn't get a lot of play on this sort of philosophical analytical side. She's also very funny and has a glass of wine whenever she's on camera, which I am always a fan of that energy. Go for it. And I could not mention modern influences on my work without mentioning that nebulous collective cool kids table called LeftTube. While it also encompasses some of the video essayists I've mentioned previously, LeftTube is a group of analysts and philosophers and former academics who are discussing leftist topics and bringing actual logic to YouTube and trying to, push that Overton window back where it should be. And they're very angry and smart and sarcastic, and they have a lot of bylighting, and just they're so cool, y'all. But if I had to pick a member of LeftTube as someone to recommend to y'all as an influencer of my work, it would of course be Mother ContraPoints, who has done so much work with visual and spectacle and just biting humor to make really salient points. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys are here for theme park content, and don't worry, my lovelies, I'm not going to leave you out. I have another 5 under for you, and that is Chris Nebergall. I've mentioned him before, full channel here. He does have a very similar show to Art Theory, but like I said in the Redhead video, he has a more in-depth academic style, which really helps drive home the idea of seeing theme park attractions as a serious piece. His video on Pirates of the Caribbean did inspire a lot of the writing of the Redhead video, and he's since done a wonderful, beautiful video on the Haunted Mansion and how it has different narratives on purpose. There has been this renaissance of park tubers lately, and that's so cool. Like, on one hand, you have the park tubers that are more lifestyle based and show Disneyland as an experience, or you have the info dumpers that give like specific park history. I can't get away from my roots, so I have the trifecta, the 3 E-ticket stooges, Dave, Tony, and Charlie. Tony, of course, is a comedic powerhouse and is capable of just beautiful insights as well as just biting, sarcastic commentary. Dave is the king at riffing theme park shows, tells you things you never knew you needed about a theme park. My man, my darling Charlie, so adept at pathos and enthusiasm, it's just infectious. And while I work way too much on his videos to be a non-biased recommender of them, he is of course my first pick in life. But you didn't come here for sentiment, you came here for recommendations, and I have more. My next 5 under is my girl Cheryl over at The Roving Naturalist, who makes an educational channel all about naturalism and zoology and ecology, and it's very fun and factual. And then she also does several videos on this intersection of human culture and art, and how that intersects with the natural world. She did a video on the symbology of gargoyles and what they mean, which is really cool. I didn't know that 90% of the animals on the Notre Dame symbolize the devil, but now I do. And she also did a video on the zoological possibility of the Megalodon movie, and a video quizzing people on animals and plants in their local area, and then tried to figure out how people would know more or less about their local flora and fauna. So if you're into educational material, and you should be if you're here, this is definitely an avenue I would love for you to check out. Now for my 5 over, I'm going to turn to the humanities section of EduTube, which is a bunch of wonderful, fun people that are helping educate. There's so many cool subsections and like music theory and entomology, and of course, visual art. One of the big educational humanities shows that influenced me is gonna be The Art Assignment, a PBS digital production headed up by Sarah Green. Not only do they explore contemporary artists of right now, but they also look at art in history and how historical context applies to them and how we can look at them today. If you enjoyed the Redhead video, I recommend The Case for the Nude in Art. It's a good double feature, and they're the more deeper dive of the two, with less tangents into Pirates of Penzance. Speaking of musicals, my last 5 under pick is going to be Stealing Focus, the web series headed up by Emily Clark, and it's all about film adaptations of musicals and what works about them and what doesn't work. And it's not just like dry academic treatise, no, it is really funny. It has obviously some song parodies, it's got good gags, it's got Gerald, who is the cutest thing ever. And if you like the kind of zany pacing of art theory in Disneyland, Stealing Focus is definitely going to be your bag. And in my final 5 over pick, I've tried to categorize this in a weird category, but it's kind of information-based vlogs or personality-based informational content. Basically, these are people with very strong personality that are still relaying information in the way a more straightforward educational video would do, but they're also putting themselves into it. They're performing the information. Now, of all the people that do this beautifully, I'm actually gonna have to go with Thomas Sanders. You might know him from Vine, and he is a bit of a higher up there YouTube echelon person, but I lately cannot get enough of the Sanders Sides videos because not only is it portraying very important mental health and relational ideas, but it's doing that through performance and through a very particular kind of performance that is both funny and poignant and works very well. The Sanders Sides videos and the Cartoon Therapy series use the performances of Thomas and others to explore often some pretty serious subjects in this kind of safe, goofy space, and that's often helped by Thomas's personality himself. So it's definitely an influence on how I write T-Bell as a character, as well as tonally transitioning from something silly to something serious. And those are my recommendations. 5 under 1,000, 5 over 1,000. Some of them were kind of obvious. gotta plug the husband. Some of them were some deep cuts, I assume, but I hope all of them you go check out and expand your horizons. Like I said, I'm gonna put out a playlist, and it's gonna have even more people on it that I think deserve your love and attention. So again, thank you so much, guys, for listening to me, which is a weird thing to think about. I'm gonna go introvert now. So if you liked it, thanks for listening. If you didn't, go check out other people. I've recommended plenty. Bye, guys. So many senpais.